Thank you very much, Michelle. Well, my role is fairly simple. I just first would like to thank everyone, the chairs of the two sessions, for leading us through this fairly complex agenda efficiently and getting us to the end with some good conclusions. Well, as we said at the beginning, this is a very broad topic, and actually we're debating ourselves, how to try and narrow it down. So as you can see, it's been, I think we got a really good focus on a number of issues. I think from the discussions, the complexity of really tracking performance in terms of the SDG 2, how we look at the whole issue of the food system, and as opposed to just focusing on the productivity and so on. So I think a number of important issues came up. Of course, the complexity of the data, how do you collect the data? I think there was a lot of reference to the issue of coordination. It's clear that the devil is in the details. How do you collect data on different aspects? I think that's also the lessons that came from the biennial review of the Malabo Declaration, which we talked about earlier. There are very clear gaps, especially when the data is coming from different sectors. When the data comes from different sectors, it's really, you see a lot of gaps. So we can see that it's fairly complex to get a good picture of what's actually happening when it comes to different stakeholders providing the information. We talked about the need for capacity building at the national and local level so that we can really track progress and have much more reliable data going forward. And of course, the role of the private sector very clearly, and other stakeholders as well. It's not just governments, but a lot of the NGOs, the farmers groups, the private sector, and so on, to be able to achieve the targets in SDG 2 and also to provide, in terms of the information and the data that would allow us to track progress. So I would say that we scratched the surface on this topic, so we can run a lot of similar discussions, but obviously, we looked, as I said, very specific issues. What's happening on the ground, from the research perspective, as well as at the macro level, what's happening at the national level and so on. So I hope you have appreciated, or you have found some valuable insight into this discussion. As I said, when we started, we were not really sure how useful such a broad coverage would have been, but I, for myself, found a lot of useful insights and data and information from our presenters. So we're very grateful for that, and I hope you also have found the morning very useful. I'd like to thank, as I said, our speakers and our chairs, as well as my colleagues, the Brussels office, as well as colleagues from Wageningen who have joined us, and especially Solina. She has been running around, and her colleagues in Brussels, to put this together. To get all the speakers and so on. So I would like to take this opportunity to thank all of them for making this happen. Well, our next briefing will be, it's already on the screen there, so it will be on April 24th, and we'll be narrowing down a very specific topic next time. So it will be, as you know, digitalization in agriculture, transformation is a key area of our work, and we'll be taking a specific theme of the blockchain for agriculture. So I encourage you to join us at the next briefing. And we invite you for a networking lunch. And again, thank you very much for staying with us throughout the morning on this important discussion. Thank you very much.